Ahoy and welcome to the long-awaited sequel to Etiquette for Boaters, and this sequel is called Etiquette for Gangoozlers. Gongoozlers? Gangoozlers? Gongoozlers? Let me know in the comments. I don't remember which one it is. I'm never going to remember. Do you want to join my gang of goozlers? Yeah? So, I've got some do's and don'ts of being a Gongoozler, Gangoozler, of being a boat enthusiast on the towpath who doesn't have a boat. That's what we're talking about, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Some of these are bloody obvious, like the Canal etiquette, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So, we'll start with the do's, so we can start on a positive note, and then it will go really, really down the don't hole in just a minute. So, do wave at boaters. We bloody love waving. Hi! You've probably noticed I wave in every video. Wave at boaters, we love it. Also, do feel free to have a chat with a boater if they don't look like they're doing something important. So, for instance, if you're not panicking and you're waiting for your lock to fill up, yeah, have a chat with us. We're happy to have a chat. But if obviously someone's busy, then leave them to it. Use your own sense of personal understanding of people to kind of gauge that one. So, on to the don'ts. Don't get on someone's boat if you don't know them or if you haven't got prior permission. This should be really obvious. It's not your boat, don't get on it. But you hear so many stories of people who have woken up to find a group of tourists stood on the end of their bow taking a selfie. So, I'm going to put it in here just anyway. Coming on to photos, I think it's always nice to ask people if you're going to take a picture of their boat if they're there, or if you're planning on taking a picture of somebody using a lock. I think it's nice to ask. It sometimes can feel like you're a tourist attraction living on a boat, so it's nice to ask, because a lot of people are actually very happy to have their photo taken, and actually I'm happy to have my photo taken. I love having my photo taken if someone asks me. But the other day we were sat on our roof and this lady walked up to us. She was literally stood about maybe a foot away. She smiled, started taking our picture, and it's just a bit strange, and it would just be a bit nicer if people asked. Oh, and that's another thing. People sometimes don't realise that boats have very thin walls, and they'll stand outside your boat and talk about you or about your boat. So if you're going to do that, say nice things, or just wait till you're a bit further away from the person's boat. I have a good story for the next one. So the next one is don't peer in the windows. So on Boxing Day, myself and my partner had all of our parents round. We've cooked a lovely dinner. We're all sat around eating, and this woman bends down, peers through the window, and then says to her friend, "It's not very private, is it?" Would be private if you weren't peering in the windows. Don't peer in people's windows, it's their homes. Yeah, I think that speaks for itself. Oh, don't touch things on other people's boats' roofs. I came out the other day and this woman was just like touching my watering can. Now, I wouldn't like to assume that she was going to steal it, but she definitely brought my inner fishwife out. What are you doing? Don't touch other people's things on their boat roof. It's like going into somebody's front garden and moving all their gnomes around. It makes you feel like someone's intruded on your space. Asking questions is fine, and here are some of the questions that many boaters have heard many times before. Is it cold in the winter? Made a video for that. I'll put a link down below. What's it like living on a boat? This question babbles me every time. I don't know how to answer it. I've started answering it with nonsense because I don't know what to say. It's such a big question that I just end up going, I don't know. It's like a hedgehog riding a lawnmower. I don't know. That's a really big question. Try and think of something more specific. And what else is there? Oh, and people always want to know, they always either think that the water from the tap comes from the canal, or that the toilet goes straight back into the canal, which is fine to ask, and actually quite often boaty conversations come back to toilets. But maybe don't ask it as your first question. Maybe say, "Oh, weather's nice," and then get into it with the hardcore toilet questions. But my main question that I personally find quite rude is when people, without having any prior conversation with me, ask me how much my boat cost. I wouldn't go up to somebody walking out of their house and go, "How much did you pay for your house?" So maybe don't ask someone about their boat. It's a bit rude. Boating prices are a bit of a how long is a piece of string thing. So really, the price of one boat is going to be completely different from the price of another boat. And they can be very similar boats. It really is a very complicated subject. So that's one of my pet peeves. Do be tactful, basically. Think about it. Remember, this is somebody's home before you ask a question and before you say anything. And I think if you bear that in mind and remember that the person you're talking to is a human, you'll be fine, which should be really obvious. So that's my lessons of etiquette for Gongoozlers. And do be careful. Just sometimes I get a bit worried that people are going to fall in the locks. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Join us again in this narrowboat adventure. And comment down below if you have a narrowboat or if you are a Gongoozler. And if you want to join my Gongoozler gang, then let me know also. We'll have to come up with some gang rules and a scary name. Right, see you then. Peace out, Gongoozlers.